Hello, welcome to a guide on grinding experience in The Witcher 3. This is aimed at gaining levels before you start New Game Plus. So this is after you've done all the quests. You can't really get any XP from anything other than grinding mobs for 2 experience apiece. It's a long grind. I'm trying to get to level 100 to start a New Game Plus at 100, which would kind of unlock a lot of the quest levels. Things like Skellige, you could leave White Orchard and I believe go straight to Skellige if you wanted, or some other things like that. You could play the story in a less linear format. Some things are still locked behind main quest progress, like the DLCs, I believe, are both locked behind other main quests. But anyways, it just sounded interesting and I wanted to give it a try. And I've been testing a lot of grinding spots, and this is by far the fastest I could find. So let's take a look at the build here. It's actually very minimal. You don't need a lot to pull this off. I've used just the bare minimum of what I need to do this. It's very simple. All the crossbow skills, lightning reflexes is not really important, but you need to spend points to get down to these other two here. I put 1 point in each of these just to fill attack power slots, and for the most part, it's very light on what you actually need. You can unlock cat eyes, which is very important. I'll explain that later, but you can unlock cat eyes just with the bare minimum. Here, 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 and here, and that'll give you access to cat eyes. The strength and synapse slots don't really matter. I'll explain why I've had these choices here in just a minute, but that's the progression that I went to get to this. This build I am using refreshment because you can get in a tricky spot, and I'll explain why. And having this will let you spam potions, and with acquired tolerance and metabolic control, you have enough toxicity to where you could spam quite a few potions, and refreshment in every 4 potions is a full heal from 0. So for your general skills, you need cat school techniques, and we're using the levity enchantment on the armor so that everything's light armor, which gives you more crit damage, which I believe affects the crossbow damage, and you have to have trick shot. So here's a little bit of the package here. Undying and cold blood. Cold blood lets you gain adrenaline with crossbow. Undying, basically if you drown, you get a full heal. Now why is this important? We're going to be drowning the entire time we're farming these drowners underwater. If anybody's ever grinded in this area, the most tedious thing for grinding underwater mobs is that you have to resurface and breathe. This build aims to completely cut out all the wasted time doing that and just let you stay underwater permanently by healing enough to make up for the damage that you take from drowning. So those are the skills. Let's look at the equipment real quick. So the way we're going to do this is with the full Teshamutna vampire set you get from a quest in Blood and Wine. Basically, if you have 6 pieces of this, every kill gives you 6% of your total health back, which means if you can kill monsters really fast, you can get a lot of healing really fast, and that's very important because we're going to be sitting on the bottom of the pond here, drowning the whole time. Now, what's really important to this build is one of the Witcher crossbows, either one, feline or ursine, both give you 15% bonus experience for monsters. You also want to use the trophy, one of the monster trophies. I use the Goliath one. That trophy stacked with the crossbow and the Corvo Bianco buff will let you get 3 XP per mob on just the story difficulty instead of 2. I don't know why. On paper, those percentages don't really make sense, but it works. I've never been able to get that to work with non-monster enemy XP, but for this it does for some reason. And it also works with the 20% sword. You can just test it out, go kill a drowner or something with a sword. You'll gain 3 XP if you have the Corvo buff, a trophy, and the bonus XP from the sword. And that's pretty much it. It's very simple Actually, preservation enchantment on this doesn't matter. You don't need any enchantments save for levity to give you that light armor crit bonus. The glyphs here don't really matter. I threw them in there just for whatever. The vitality regen from these glyphs is almost unnoticeable. When you're drowning, you're losing so much health so fast. Let's see here. Okay, at first when doing this, I thought that Grave Hag, Succubus, and Algol decoction would work, but after I've tested enough, they actually don't work, because even when you're underwater getting hit by a drowner, you're not considered in combat. You can test this by equipping Euphoria with a bunch of toxicity. You'll never get the buff because the Euphoria buff only activates in combat. Also, for example, Razor Focus will not trigger while you're killing these drowners. Anything that happens or has any relation to being in combat doesn't work, because for some reason you're not considered in combat even when a monster is hitting you if you're underwater. So these don't actually do anything. However, Ecumara does work, because your crossbow damage does trigger this bit of heal from Ecumara, so that is important. These two, all these do not matter. So what you want to have is just the Ecumara decoction on. And with our skills, I'm also using acquired tolerance and metabolic control. Oh, well, I didn't actually equip it. Metabolic control, okay. So what that will do is gives you a huge 297 toxicity base, and 70 of that will be used for Ecumara. The rest of that is just for an emergency button. So while setting up your spawn, getting into the right position, you're drowning, you're going to be underwater drowning the whole time. You're losing health very fast. This extra buffer of toxicity combined with some of these alchemy skills will let you spam potions to full heal whenever you need to. And you could even go with fast metabolism on there as well, just to let that potion toxicity go down a lot faster. But once you get in position with this, you shouldn't take any damage and you shouldn't get hit, and you should heal enough, fast enough to where your health is irrelevant. You'll be killing drowners so fast that you'll full heal constantly with the Teshin Mutana set bonus. But that's just a little explanation as to what these skills do for you. I like to have that buffer of a bunch of toxicity in a pinch if I need to spam potions. Another potion that you can use that's really valuable is the White Rafford's Decoction. This will full heal you and make you immune to the drowning damage for 3 seconds. So that's in a pinch. If you get knocked around by the drowners, that will give you some more time to reposition and get on top of the spawns and get some of them killed off. And that's about it. Nothing else really affects this. Water Hag won't do anything because you're constantly taking damage. So it'll never trigger the buff. A lot of decoctions are based on things happening in combat, which you're never considered in combat. So really, it's just the Ecumara is all you want. You could throw on the plus crit Catacan, but your crit with the crossbow is already 80%. You don't really need it. You'll crit basically every shot. And that's about it. The drowners will die in one shot from any crossbow, it doesn't matter, but this one will let you get 3 experience per kill instead of just the 2. And that's pretty much the build, so let's take a look here. So we're in Urston. Pull up the right thing here. Okay, this drowner spot is known. I've read this on message boards, people talking about this. Swimming underwater, shooting a bunch of drowners, using the whale potion, and then having to come back up so that you can get some breath to go back down. This build and this technique will basically let you ignore that, which is the biggest part of wasting time with this kind of farming, is having to get breath. We're not going to do that. We're going to sit in one spot and turret and shoot stuff constantly and just constantly gain life. We'll never drown. We'll out heal the drowning, as hard as that is to believe. So Urston, Widow's Grotto, about halfway in between, right there pretty much. Now the problem is there's like 3 or 4 drowner spawns here. The one that's like right about here is glitchy. The drowners will sometimes spawn and then walk on the ground or run around very fast for some reason and then run up the shore or run up here to the mountain, or I've even seen them just disappear in front of me or glitch under the map. So to prevent that problem, because we have to be killing drowners fast enough to not die ourselves to a drowning. So to prevent that problem, we're going to sit close enough to this spawn so that no matter what, that glitch spawn will not proc. And what will happen is all 3 spawns in front of us will be the only spawns that are active, which means no monsters or no drowners ever get behind us or spawn on top of us. And it just makes it very, very simple to auto lock between the spawns and shoot the drowners. So let's take a look at that. We'll go ahead and take our Ecumar decoction here. Okay, Ecumar decoction's on. I'll show you how to access this pond here. One quick thing. You want to come here between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. If the time's not right, when you fast travel here from Corvo Bianco, you can just fast travel to other locations back and forth. You won't lose time on your buff, and it'll fix the time for you. Try to make it as close to 6 p.m. as you can. That way you get the most spawns, because these spawns kind of shut off at 6 a.m. and Drowned Dead will also spawn between those hours, whereas you'll never see those during the day in this area. So it gives you a much higher monster density for grinding, and you'll get a lot of experience doing this very quickly and very easily if you come here at the right time of day. So we're just going to walk up the shore here. Now, these drowners sometimes will spawn all stacked on top of each other. That's the best. It looks like that's what happens. There's a bunch of drowners there, but you're only seeing one blip on the radar, so to speak. So we're going to enter the water, and you're looking for a very specific spot. Now watch, that drowner will split off into like 4 drowners. Yep, see? That's hard to avoid getting hit the first couple of times. But this rock with this hornwort here, this is the bad spawn. We are going to sit here and avoid. I didn't mean to pick that. Sit here and avoid letting any of those drowners spawn from that spot, as it's very troublesome. Now you'll be able to get in between all 3 of these spawns, and you'll be able to auto lock at a certain range. It takes a minute to get situated into the right spot. Just kind of kill stuff while you're working on it. Raise up a little bit. Just take your time. Don't pull the crossbow trigger too fast, because what will happen is your lock on target will get hit, and then you'll immediately just fire a bolt into open water. Just take your time, like I just did there. Well, he's too far out of range. You don't ever need it manually. So. Alright, we're about to start actually drowning now. And the most important thing is to keep killing and to be in lock on range of these 3 spawns. One to the left, one in the middle, and this furthest one to the right. And if you keep shooting, they will never get to you, and you'll never die. If you see, my health is constantly going up. What's very important is the cat eyes mutation. It gives like an AoE splash effect to your bolt. It's very odd. It doesn't mention anything like that in the description, but it works. And you can kill 4 drowners at once if they spawn on top of each other with cat eyes. See, there's a couple double kills right there. And the double kills are great because it heals you twice as much with the set bonus. And it also gets faster XP, because as soon as they die, more will spawn. So the faster they spawn, the faster you can kill them, and it just kind of snowballs the effect. So as you can see, never getting low enough on life even to be worried. Now sometimes they can get to you, knock you. They can knock you far enough away from the glitch spawn to where drowners can spawn there again. But that's kind of what Undying is for. Because with Undying, it gives you a full extra health bar to get back into position and start auto-locking again. But basically you can see it's infinite. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. you'll never die. If you're in the right position, you'll be able to do it constantly. And I don't know if I mentioned this, cat eyes, it's not for damage. It's because if you test it, when you have cat eyes, your bolt has like a little puff of sparks when it hits. That's not there if you don't have cat eyes. And it actually seems like it gives the bolt like a AoE hitbox, and you can kill multiple drowners when they spawn inside of each other with one shot, and it gives you a ton of healing. It speeds up the spawn in general, makes it just much better. So always use cat eyes no matter what. And I think that's about it. If you get in a pinch and you get slapped around a bit while you're drowning and you're about to lose health, or maybe you don't have enough adrenaline points for Undying, you can always hit at White Rafferts to give you a full health bar and immunity for a few seconds, or you can just spam random potions and refreshment will fill up your health. So it's very hard to die doing this as long as you get in the right position. You should never have to move, you should never have to surface for air, and this is very, very fast XP. So here's 377, 1 kill. Actually, that counted as 2 kills. Yeah, that was a double kill. See if I can get a single kill to show the experience is 3 per mob instead of 2. So I'm at 398. There's a single mob. 401. So it's 3, which is a big deal when you're killing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of mobs. For XP, it will give you a lot in the long run, having that 1 extra XP per mob. If you've ever tried grinding Montcrane Castle, grinding the dogs there, or all the soldiers, the bandits that spawn, they only ever give you 2, and they spawn slower, and you have to reset them or go through the portal or run back and forth. This, you can just sit here and turret constantly, and you will gain XP faster than probably even questing, to be honest. And it'll serve you pretty well. This video was made for Phoenix237. If you've seen any of his content, it's fantastic. I basically learned the mechanics of this game through his content, so I just wanted to show him this pretty much, and I'm sure he can make a much better video about this or change the build around. And that's it. Enjoy. Try to hit 100 and start new game at 100 and see what happens. Alright, have a good one.